Barkeep, I'd like a water. Up. In a whiskey glass?
Whatever you want, John Wayne. Every time.
Excuse me. I couldn't help but notice it's a SteamWorld game you're playing there. Mm-hmm. Well, I've played all of the SteamWorld games. I actually helped make them, you know.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, pretty cool. Do you want to know a secret about SteamWorld? Something that nobody knows anything about?
Sure.
Well, there's the story about this.
Great story, cowboy. Don't forget your hat.
I'll be right back. So, as I was saying... Oh, sorry. I just wanted to share the secret about SteamWorld. We're actually working on something new.
I see it, the mine shaft.
All right, folks, time to get to work.
Welcome to SteamWorld Telegraph's special broadcast. You just saw the trailer for our next SteamWorld game, SteamWorld Build, which is coming to PC and all consoles later this year. SteamWorld is Thunderful's original series, and it was created right here in Gothenburg. This Swedish city was, and still is, an industrial town, traditionally known for its huge port and also the many factories that were built here, once some of the British investors came over during the Industrial Revolution. So I'm here in this beautifully preserved relic from that era, the Gothenburg Remfabrik Textiles Museum. Back in the day, when this factory was fully functional, it was steam-powered, as were all factories in Gothenburg from the 1800s and 1900s. This huge industrial significance of Gothenburg in Swedish history was highly influential when we gave birth to SteamWorld, as we wanted to create a series that kept the DNA of the place it was originally created in. Before we dig further into SteamWorld Build, I wanted to quickly go over what SteamWorld is and share a couple of SteamWorld-related announcements too. SteamWorld has always been about making the types of games we at Thunderful wanted to make, with a gameplay that excites us, and it's an IP that acts as a wrapper for any genre and allows us to add our own unique twist to it. SteamWorld began with SteamWorld Tower Defense, and then came an action digging platformer with the first SteamWorld Dig. Then we tackled turn-based tactics with SteamWorld Heist. Dig 2 was our attempt at a full-blown Metroidvania, and with SteamWorld Quest, we gave deck-building RPGs a SteamWorld spin. For every genre we decide to Steamify, we always strive to add unique elements and distill it down to its core essentials with extremely tight gameplay and an accessible design. Bringing SteamWorld back and making it bigger and better than ever has been something we've been planning for years now. I've been working with Image and Form since the original game, SteamWorld Tower Defense, back in 2010, and SteamWorld Build is now the 6th mainline entry in the SteamWorld series. As our roster of studios increases in size, we of course have a lot of people wanting to bring their own ideas to the SteamWorld universe for their next project. So, as the series expands into new and exciting directions, I will be working with all of our development studios to ensure that the tone, the lore, and the gameplay of all our SteamWorld games stays true to the series' roots. Of course, Build is one of those directions, but we also have more SteamWorld games in development than ever before. Including Build, we're now working on 4 separate SteamWorld titles. Back in the day, when we were a small team, we had to make a SteamWorld game, have a break, then figure out what we wanted to do next, and so on and so on. So now, as Thunderful, we have multiple studios, and it means we can do a lot more SteamWorld things at once. I'm not going to go into details on the other 3 titles today, but rest assured, we cannot wait to show you more when the time is right. For SteamWorld fans around the world, SteamWorld Telegraph will be the new one-stop shop to get all the latest information on the series. Starting a little later this year, we will be introducing SteamWorld Telegraph as a smaller scale, community-focused show, which I will host. We'll be able to do deep dives into specific SteamWorld news stories or announcements, discuss the lore of our world, play past and present SteamWorld games, and we'll interview developers and other guests. Today's special broadcast has been made to kick off the return of SteamWorld. As you look forward to hearing more about the debut of SteamWorld Telegraph, sign up to the SteamWorld newsletter and follow us on social media to be the first to know. For anyone wanting to catch up on the SteamWorld series, we have a SteamWorld franchise sale available right now on Steam, where you can purchase SteamWorld Dig, SteamWorld Heist, SteamWorld Dig 2, and SteamWorld Quest at insane discounts. Which now brings me to SteamWorld Build. For anyone hoping to play SteamWorld Build before release, there's a free demo available today on Steam as part of the Steam Base Builder Fest. Now, let's talk more about SteamWorld Build and show you the game up and running. So we'll roll the trailer one more time and then meet you back here for some gameplay.
Look, Pa, I see it! I see it! The mine shaft!
All right, folks, time to get to work.
Hi everyone, and welcome back. I'm now joined by two of the developers of SteamWorld Builds, who represent our internal studio, The Station, which is located in Karlshamn here in Sweden. And with us we have Sofie Wikström, who is the art director.
Hello.
And Adam Vasey, who is the producer.
Hi.
So guys, there's a lot of lore to SteamWorld that's already established. I mean, we have so many games and they follow along a timeline, if you like. Like this game leads to this game and you learn something in this game that tells about that appears in that game and so on. How does SteamWorld Build fit into the lore and the timeline?
Yeah, so this is actually a story about a father and his daughter trying to escape the dying Earth. So in SteamWorld Dig 2, in the end of the game, we see a lot of rockets departing from the Earth when the Earth exploding. And our story is one of those rockets.
It's cool. So the SteamWorld franchise, it likes to take on new genres and mash them up. So that's nothing new. So could you tell us a little bit about how the idea of a city builder came about?
So actually, we always loved city builder games in our studio, and we were, of course, big fans of the SteamWorld series as well. So when we started to talk about the collaboration, a city building with the influences of the digging and the mining part of the dig games were something that we really wanted to do.
Could you mention like a few things that make SteamWorld Builds like truly unique?
Yeah, so initially we decided that we wanted to take two established game systems, so city building and basically resource managing and resource gathering, and create one cohesive experience. Think like...
Yeah, I would say it's like the Anno series having a baby with Dungeon Keeper,
yeah.
and we should be in the right ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct. But the challenge of that, of course, becomes making a game that is cohesive and also brings both those elements into play in one good way.
Yeah, exactly. It's always been about the gameplay, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't mind mashing up genres. It's fun, you know. It's like baking a cake. You take some good stuff and put it together and see what you come up with. So that's one thing. But another thing is the accessibility of the games. Like you say, I mean, like you're building a city, but you're also mining and gathering these resources. And I never feel that I'm leaving one to go into the other. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah.
That must have been difficult, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it was. Like when we thought about it, we knew we wanted to make a city builder, but going too far away from the original material in the SteamWorld games, it just felt wrong.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted to do the digging, and everyone loved the idea of the old Dungeon Keeper games. So we figured, could we combine the two in a good way? But then we had to figure out, how do these two layers connect? How does your actions in the mine feed into your actions in the city, and vice versa?
Right.
So we had to keep this constant flow. So that was the big thing to figure out. But of course, it's by unlocking things, finding things in the mine.
Yeah.
So, you know, you find, I don't know, you find scrap in the tunnels, and you're like, ooh, nice. That means you can create spare parts.
Yeah.
That means that you can get engineers, and that means that you can, you know, go further in the mine. So
Yeah.
it all feeds on one another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so of course you have to also think about optimizing your city and like how do I fulfill my inhabitants and how do I make the best of my city planning to make it all efficient.
SteamWorld Build is the first SteamWorld game coming out that is in 3D. I mean, Sophie, like as an art director, that poses a million questions, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
yeah, it does.
because if you do a 2D game, it'll always look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you
always
just
good.
Yeah, it will always look exactly like you intended,
Yeah.
right?
There was a lot of challenges with that. First off, we wanted to make sure that we kept true to the original material. So we looked a lot at the old games, and you can see it reflected in our game. Like, we chose to keep the blocks in the mine, for example, because that's a throwback to your games. It looks good in your game, so why change it? But generally, for the city, we had to always consider scale of everything, because we zoom out and look at the city from a far distance a lot. So we had to think of every building as sort of its own little hero piece as the main character. Meaning that when we designed the buildings, we had to think about silhouettes, colors, shapes, and humor.
Right.
Humor is important. So, for example, we have a restaurant called Le Gourmand, which is basically just a giant cloche that lifts up and down, and it has like a knife and a fork that rotates. So
Right.
it's really easy to see from a distance what it is.
It actually took me a while to realize that, wait a minute, I can actually zoom in, like, and look at this, and seamlessly, like, suddenly, I'm looking at, I'm a city planner, I'm building my city, and then you go in and you see the robots sort of walking along the streets, but also, like you said, like, every building is its own character in the game, and it's magnificent. And also, when you get in close, you hear these things.
Yeah. We're gonna, pull in references where we can, where it's funny. That's always gonna happen. We have one level that has a cinema, that has a movie playing. It's basically just robots looking at each other like intensely.
In the game?
Yeah, and then it says the good, the bad, and the rusty on a sign. So those sort of things. We also have in one part of the mine, we have a swamp.
Yeah.
There is a sign half buried in the ground that says beware, and then there's a Robo Shrek on the image. Stuff like that,
So there's one more thing that I feel makes it unique, or hopefully makes it unique, because like when I've played city builders, I've either played on PC, using a keyboard and mouse, and it just is very natural. And then I've played also on my iPad, and I think, yeah, that works really well too. But SteamWorld Build, we're going out boldly here saying that it's coming to PC and all consoles.
Yeah, so we decided to, hey, we want to make this game accessible for everyone on all the platforms. So how do we do that the smoothest way possible? So we decided to, hey, let's make sure that we have playable builds every week, and that we design the UI and the interface so it would work equally well with a mouse and a keyboard or with a gamepad. And if it did not, then we wouldn't put it in. So that was one big thing, because we had this UI guy tied to the project, and so if he got instructions from Andreas, our game director, hey, I want to do this, and he could basically say, no, that won't work on the gamepad, sorry, and then we just had to rethink it, right?
So when we did our game test sessions, we had PC players and console players at the same time, and our developers got to feedback on how we felt on console and could, give good input. Like, this doesn't work, could we switch this button, etc.
And I think we could absolutely guarantee that all the players, no matter what platform you're playing on, will receive the same experience as the PC version. So yeah, we're really proud of that.
Well, guys, we're going to wrap up here, but it's been, such a delight talking to you guys, and I'm so happy for the game. And so 2023, it's hitting the virtual shelves, right? Yeah. So thanks a lot for coming up to Gothenburg, like from Karlshamn.
Yeah.
We're so
Thank
happy.
you for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to the team who's been working on this game as well, I just want to say thanks a lot, guys, because I think you've pulled it off. It's really, really nice. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, so to reiterate what we've shown you today, SteamWorld Build is coming to PC and all consoles later in 2023. We have a free demo going live today on Steam. All previous SteamWorld games are available with huge discounts in the SteamWorld franchise sale, which is also live today on Steam. Beyond SteamWorld Build, we have many more SteamWorld games coming, so look forward to hearing about those in the future. SteamWorld Telegraph will debut properly later this year at a smaller scale as our new community show that focuses on all things SteamWorld past, present, and future. In the meantime, follow us on social media and sign up to the SteamWorld newsletter to be the first to know about all SteamWorld news directly from us. And that's our show. Thanks for watching, and as always, we hope you have a thunderful day and look forward to checking back in with you very soon. Bye for now.